Hello and welcome to the Voice of Your Passions business interview series. I'm super excited to be here today with Lynda Sunshine West. She's a publishing expert, and she is going to talk about her journey with her business, and also has a free gift for everyone around how to become a best-selling Amazon author. So you want to stay tuned to hear how you can claim that gift. But welcome, Lynda. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me. And it's funny because when you said the word expert, it's weird to hear somebody else say it. And it's like reality starts to hit because I've never seen myself as an expert in anything. So,
Oh my
so
gosh, absolutely. We're all experts in something.
yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So let me just give our listeners a little background on you, and then we're gonna jump in and you can tell your own story. But so Lynda ran away at 5 years old and was gone an entire week. She came home riddled with fears and in turn became a people pleaser. And at 51, she decided to face one fear every day for an entire year. And in doing so, she gained an exorbitant amount of confidence and now uses what she learned to fulfill her mission of empowering 5 million women and men to write their stories to make a greater impact on the planet. Oh my gosh, Lynda, that's amazing. So glad to have you. And I want to just jump in with the first question is, why are you passionate about being a publisher?
Well, it's interesting because our stories, I like to say it's our relation points that create our relationships. And so what I found is that as I started sharing my story, people would say like, where'd you go when you ran away when you were 5? What kind of fears did you have? And they wanted to hear the stories related to those. And I found that as I was telling the stories, that's where I made my greatest connections. And being a publisher, this was something that completely happened by a fluke because I was never a reader and I was never a writer, not interested in either of those things until at age 51, when my mentor invited me to be in a collaboration book that he was putting together. So I started that journey. I was in that book. I was scared to do it, but I did it because my mentor invited me. And I always see, like nowadays I live my life by like, they see something in me that I don't see in myself. And so I need to step into that and explore what that is and become that. And so that was kind of the start of it. After I was in that book, I wrote my own book called The Year of Fears, after breaking through a fear every day for a year. And then after that, I said, I was in a book, I wrote a book. What's my next natural state of progression? I'm going to follow my mentor's footsteps and I'm going to start creating my own collaboration books. And so I did the first one with the founder of UGG Boots, the inventor of the credit card magnetic strip, the creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, a few of the people that I met on my journey, breaking through those fears every day for a year. And I said, I'm doing a book. Will you be in it? And every single one of them said yes. And that was what started it. And after that first book, I lost money because, I paid more to the ghostwriter than I did for anything else. And I lost some money in that one, but I was like, oh my God, that was so much fun. I want to do this again. And, if we're having fun doing something, I believe, we got to figure out how we can do more of that. But then how can I make money? And that's what I was on the journey of, is learning, how can I make money? So I published 2 more books after that one. They were 8 days apart. They both hit #1 international bestseller status in under 5 hours.
Wow.
And I looked at that, Stephanie, and I said, I found my ikigai. I know what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I am damn good at it, and I can make money at this. And that was when I decided to just like throw in the towel of everything else I was trying to figure out in business. And I just jumped right in. That was 23 months ago. And we've published 25 #1 international best-selling books in the last 23 months.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I had no idea that was going to happen, but I was just doing what I love, and I'm still doing what I love.
Yeah. And what a transformation, because you had to go through, or not, you didn't have to, you chose to go through a year of overcoming fear. And that has to change you in deep, mysterious, unexplainable ways, right?
Yes.
And then to be able to then immediately jump into something and be aware of how successful you are at it, and then have the proof 2 years later of how successful you are at it, and you claim that expertise as part of that transformation you went through. It's just quite inspiring. And especially the part where, it wasn't until you were 51 years old. Like, there's hope for all of us to say to ourselves, hey, it doesn't matter what age you are, you can change your life. You can absolutely do something different and find where your skill set lies to be able to create something that is fun, as you say, and profitable. So I love that. I love that story. So can you share more of the transformation you help people? Like, who are writing in these books? Who are the people you're looking for to be in these collaborative books?
Yeah, definitely. Some of our authors are first time authors. They never even put pen to paper before, except like typing on social media and stuff. And, those, we have about 50% of them. And then we have about 50% of, people who are already authors that are wanting to be part of our community and be part of what we're putting together. Because, when you're on a freight train that's heading, people want to jump on board, right? And so that's what's happening over here. Like, we're moving fast forward, and it's been an absolute incredible journey for sure. So we have some people that have been in 5 and 6 of our collaboration books. They keep coming back because they love the community. So some people are looking for community. Some are looking to share their story and they don't want to write a whole book. Some want to get their message out there, but they don't know the steps to take. And so we help them by doing all the work. All they do is write the story, and we do everything else from that point. So it's the transformation. I'll share one quick story. One of our authors, she says, I'm just a housewife. Like, who wants to hear my story? Yeah. And so after talking to her a little bit more, found her story is absolutely fascinating, what she's gone through. And so she decided to jump into one of our books. And then from there, things started shifting. She made that decision to jump in. She shared her story. We gave her opportunities to be interviewed on our platform as well as other people's platforms, which is one of the things we do. And then that was her first time ever being interviewed. She never did anything like this before. She started to get hooked on it so much that she's like, I'm going to do a book launch event. So she did her own book launch event where she did a book signing. She had so much fun with that. And then she started doing live videos about it. So this transformation of just one example, then people started reaching out to her and saying, I love your story. Can I interview you on my podcast? And so the transformation for her to go from like, who wants to read my story, to this person who has completely stepped into it. And there's nothing quite like, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about it because our stories have so much power. I was terrified to tell my story for 51 years. And now I'm no longer terrified, and it's changed my life.
Yeah. There is something powerful about sharing your story.
Yeah.
And there's something that can be very scary about being visible.
Yes.
Like, people start to see you. And if that's not something you're used to or something you've really considered in bigger ways, that can feel very scary, and I'm a performer, so I've always wanted to be on stage, and I've always been like, yeah, look at me. And even I sometimes get nervous sharing stories about my life or about painful times in my life or whatever it is, because it is just another layer of visibility, and you can feel pretty vulnerable. So, but it's powerful.
And vulnerability is actually our greatest strength that we have as human beings, is that when we can show up vulnerably, it invites others to show up vulnerably. I don't know how many calls I've had with people where they say, you know what, I've never shared this with anybody before.
Yeah.
And that right there is just what a great invitation to, like, when we show up vulnerably, like, it's inviting them to do the same thing. It breaks down those barriers. And that's how I show up vulnerably all the time now, because I'm not, like, I don't worry about it anymore. My life is my life. And have I done some really bad things I probably shouldn't have? Yeah, many of them. And I will share them. If somebody asks me, I'll share them. I'm now an open book.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with this. And it's, from a lot of business owners, we're always thinking to ourselves, how do we market ourselves? How do we create more visibility? How do we have vulnerability in a way that helps people be attracted to what we're creating in our businesses? And so a book is a great way to add to your marketing campaign. It also, what I'm hearing from you, is it can be a great way to spark other ways of multi-purpose and repurposing, of your marketing, of your story in different ways, like on video, on interviews, on podcasts. It starts to flourish from there. So I love that. Can you share a tip related to what you do that would help our listeners?
Oh, yes. Can I see it? The the first tip is write the damn book. Okay. Like that's okay. Get started. I mean, that's really the main thing. They say that 24% of the population ever writes their book, but only 3% ever publish it. So if you're stumped, it's like find somebody to connect with that can help you to take that next step. Some kind of accountability partner. I know that we have that within EBN. We have accountability partners. So find somebody. But the greatest tip I would say is find, figure out a piece in your life that you would love to share that that's going to make a greater impact on the planet, as well as, being that we're all business owners here, something that's going to connect with your audience to bring them in. So we don't always have to share like the tips and the tricks and all this stuff, like sharing our story. If you resonate with me and you read my story, then this is a great connection point for us, for you to say, you know what, I want to look a little bit deeper and I want to see who this person really is. Is this somebody I would like to refer or somebody I would like to work with? So really just look at your story and say, where should I start? And what message do I want to get out there?
And you can start with posting on social media or writing a newsletter or writing an article or being interviewed. Like that can be how you start.
Yeah.
And then the idea blossoms into something that can be more book oriented. So I love just changing your mindset about how can I get started. Is awesome. So you have a gift for everyone. Share what your gift is and we'll talk about how to get it.
Yes, we have the strategies that we use to hit that Amazon #1 international bestseller status. It's our bestseller tips. And so we're going to be giving you that as a free gift. It's a $500 value that we charge for that normally, but we're going to give it to you as a free gift. And I'm so excited for you to just check it out and see what are those secrets that I need to use in order to hit that bestseller status if you're looking for the bestseller status.
Awesome. So to receive this gift from Lynda, type #bestseller as a comment under the video, and then Lynda will reach out to you personally to make sure you get that gift.
Yes.
So thank you again, Lynda, for just sharing your story, a part of your story, and your passion, obviously, for what you do. I can see how much you love it and how it's really, brought excitement. I can just see the excitement bubbling in you on the success you've had the last couple of years and where you want to go from here. So any final thoughts before we wrap it up today?
Yes. One thing is that if you want to find out where I went when I ran away when I was 5 years old and I was gone an entire week, let's connect. I'll tell you the story about that. But the last thing is that, our stories are so powerful. Storytelling has been around since the dawn of time, the very, very beginning of time. And so our stories are where we make our greatest connections with people. So get out there and share your story, whether it's with us at Action Takers Publishing or it's another publishing company or you're doing self-publishing. Just get your story out there. It will make a greater impact.
Absolutely. Get your story out there, everyone. If you would like to meet Lynda or other amazing creative business owners, you can visit Empowered Business Networking. We meet the first Thursday of every month from 2 to 3:30 Eastern time, and you're allowed to come as a visitor twice. So you've never been, please come visit us. You can check us out at ebnnetworking.com for more information. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you all next time.
You got to come to EBN. It's absolutely amazing. It's just the greatest networking event I've ever, I wouldn't even call it a networking event, Stephanie. It's so much more than that. It's really like this business, like these business connections and how we're able to connect with people. I've made so many connections at that one group alone, that more than I made probably in the last 3 years, like throughout the whole COVID time. So
oh
I
my
want to
gosh,
thank you. I know it's been incredible that the people you bring together are just absolutely stellar. And I've been looking for that. And I finally found it here.
Yay. I'm so glad. Thanks for the testimonial.
You're welcome.
All right,
It's
everyone.
true.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.